I remember driving down Sunset Boulevard, and I was with another girlfriend of mine. We're driving by, where the Sunset Plaza is, and I see Dr. Dre eating lunch outside, and I'm like, like pulling over. I'm like, I gotta go rap for him. I gotta go rap for Dre.
Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Window podcast. I'm Sharon Volner, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Jennifer Enriquez, and our fabulous featured guest, Carrie Simmons, licensed marriage and family therapist, clinician to musician.
So good.
Yes, I did it.
You did.
So we started as clinicians here at Ventana, and after several years of working together, Carrie, you launched into licensure as a clinician, private practice. You took your singing career into huge leaps, concerts, tours, and just you invited us to your show.
Yep.
And we were just so inspired. We thought we were just going to have a great night out. And it turned into a really transformational, inspiring evening. Just the experience of being in a concert with you. And we want to hear all about how you do that, because you talk about recovery, you bare your soul about your own personal struggles, and you've inspired crowds. Just amazing. Where should we begin?
Was the concert at the Whisky A Go-Go on the Sunset Strip therapeutic?
Beyond.
Because that was my intention.
Beyond.
Okay.
I remember you introduced yourself to the crowd and you said, I'm here to take you on an experience. And then the next couple of hours were just transformative.
Awesome.
Because, I've been to concerts. I expect to be entertained. But it was truly an experience where tell us about you. Tell us about why you started. Tell us about your show.
Okay. Well, I'm from Virginia, Northern Virginia, and my dad was a jazz musician. And I grew up listening to jazz, and then my mom loved country. So I got like the two ends of the spectrum in the genre. And I just have always loved music. I was a very rebellious teen, and I had a lot of issues as a teenager in my adolescence, and just trying to have a sense of belonging and trying to just fit in. And I just never liked myself. I had very low self-esteem. I just struggled with school and extracurricular activities, and going to shows and going to see live hardcore shows in DC was such a great escape for my anger. I was a very angry teenager. And on the outside you wouldn't tell, because I looked very blonde hair, blue eyes, and just a normal girl. But it's funny because my mom always wanted me to be a cheerleader. And I was not that bubbly at all. Now I've matured, and I wish one of my shows I dressed up as a cheerleader because, my inner child just wanted to come through. But back in the day, I was, at these hardcore shows moshing, and everybody that went to these shows, there was such a scene. And I could really relate to these, tough skinheads and punks and degenerates, and I fit in there, and I felt like I was someone, but I never thought I could be a musician. I never thought I would be a singer. I wanted to be a photographer and join a band and go on tour with them as their photographer, because I found my place on stage shooting pictures of the lead singer, of the guitar player, of the drummer. And that was just a world that I loved, going to all ages shows. And then as I grew up and graduated high school, I'm like, I can't do music, because I just didn't believe in myself. And again, I had shame and just filled with a lot of negative feelings. I was anti-establishment. I was very codependent. I had a boyfriend that I couldn't not be with. It was just like, ew, I was so self-destructive, and I was my own worst enemy, honestly. And then I barely got into college. And then when I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia, I was on my own, like living in the ghetto, just awful. I mean, if my mom hears this, she's going to have a different take. But this is my experience. I was like, I didn't have a car. I had to ride my bike everywhere. I had to rent this little apartment. I was depressed. I was just seeking something outside of myself to heal my brain and to love myself. So I started doing ecstasy a lot and started going to raves and started to really self-medicate, and never knew I had any issues with, alcohol or drugs. I had dabbled in pot and hash and acid and just like recreationally, but it wasn't until I went to college that I really found E. That's really my drug of choice. And so I started just to like get into the music scene. I got into house music and techno and didn't know I had a problem. Again, I was a photo major still, and in the visual arts, not performing arts. And again, I didn't fit in. I was like lost, completely lost. And by the grace of God and like my grandmother writing a letter, you better stay here, because I wanted to transfer to a performing arts school in New York. But I was like, how can I ever be an actor, an actress professionally? How could I ever like do that on Broadway? Like, that's just impossible. And so my grandmother said, you better get your bachelor's and then you can do whatever you wanted. So I endured 4 years in Savannah, which was like, it was tough. But I ended up graduating with a fashion design major. I switched my majors and moved to New York City, worked in the garment industry, got a job doing it was a showroom manager. And it was really fun. And I got to look fabulous, and I got all these free clothes, and I was like working for the labels. And again, but that inside, part of me was just unhappy. I was irritable, discontent, restless, and I wanted something bigger. I wanted something different. And I felt like nobody really cared about my vision, my dreams. And I was at that time in 92, 93. I'm sorry, that's when I graduated high school in 92. Then I moved to New York in 96, 97, and I was really into the environment. And in New York City, no one cares about the Mother Earth and saving the planet. And so that's what actually took me to California. And came out to California, started my own clothing company called Hemp Candy. And I thought if I made environmentally friendly clothing, I could make a difference. And so I was living in Orange County doing that, and I got married to this nice Russian guy, and we moved to Hollywood. So that's where it all began, in Hollywood in like the year 2000. And I was doing my clothing, and then I started to just audition. And I had always been like poetic and writing little raps and rhymes. And I was out in Hollywood partying one night, drinking and drugging, and I came across a music studio, and I was with a friend, and we put our voices on wax, and we like recorded. And I had the CD, and it was Hemp Candy, because my rap name, I've had a lot of rap names, but one was Hemp Candy. And it was like, my name's Hemp Candy and I'm on the mic. I tell you a few secrets and some things I like. I think that was like the very first rap I ever did. And I was hooked. That was my new drug. That was my new addiction. And so I think music found me. I wasn't like really pursuing it at all because I knew nothing about the music industry, but I ended up pursuing this. I wanted to do it again. I wanted to get more recordings. And so I just did all this stuff. I started a band, and the band was called Hyper because I was very hyper. And so we just started to, book shows. I was like doing all the admin stuff. We played the Viper Room, King, all over LA. And it was amazing. And, as I'm doing this, I'm also drinking a lot and partying like a rock star. And it was really, really, really fun. And then my marriage fell apart. And then this other producer came into the, scene, and the band fell apart. And then it's just like, what they say. It's like fun, and then fun with problems, and then just problems. And so I still wanted to pursue this entertainment career. And so I had to reorganize who I was working with. So I must have worked with like literally 100 producers of, all different genres, from hip hop, because I wanted to be a rapper and I went by the name of the Raptress, and I wanted to be the female Eminem. And I'm like, wait, you do need millions of dollars, by the way, to promote and market you if you're. And I remember driving down Sunset Boulevard, and I was with another girlfriend of mine. We're driving by, where the Sunset Plaza is, and I see Dr. Dre eating lunch outside, and I'm like, like pulling over. I'm like, I gotta go rap for him. I gotta go rap for Dre. And I did. I got out of my car. I went up to his table, and I like dropped some rhymes for him. And he was unfortunately not impressed. But I took my shot.
How bold.
I was very bold.
Yes.
And you know what? I mean, God had a plan, because if I had gotten into that, it's probably, rejection is God's protection. And so I didn't get signed to like Death Row Records that day, but I did get, I did have other, wonderful experiences. And I kept doing my thing. I ended up doing an entire jazz album.
Wow.
And that was all like American standards by Cole Porter. And I was going to be marketed as a jazz chanteuse. But then it was just like, who am I? What am I doing? And this is like before sobriety. I didn't get sober until 2007. So from 2000 to 2007, I was just finding my voice, finding out who I was. And I think that's what music really did for me, is that it gave me not just a voice, but it gave me power, a powerful voice. I got to write what I wanted to write and say what I wanted to say. And so, after that jazz album, and it was like beautiful, and I shot the pictures at the Playboy studio, and it was like, but I had no control of what happened. So I wanted to take control back. And that's when I started just really revving it up, taking it to the next level, and doing my own thing and becoming an independent artist. Yeah. Oh, and in there, too, I booked the Grand Theft Auto video game cover. And it's quite interesting because, when you move to Hollywood as a young 20-something and you have these, big dreams with stars in your eyes, like I did, my family's like, build a fortress around you, and I'm like, no, I'm just going to go. I was fearless. And I definitely got taken advantage of, definitely got exploited, definitely got like completely caught up in this world that was not healthy or good for me, and I could not get out. So no one could save me anyway. And so I became very powerless. And then it wasn't until I had to move to the West Side to start a new life, to get over and out of that scene and, start again. And even with the first booking of the Grand Theft Auto, nobody really, I was just one of millions of girls to come to LA and to try their hand at stardom. And so as I got sober, and let's just fast forward 5 years of sobriety, I just never stopped working on developing my voice and refining my musicianship and learning how to build self-mastery. And at 5 years sober, I got into another relationship that taught me about mental health, that really tested my sense of who I was as a human. And that was a huge, oh my gosh, I ended up in jail because I just did not have any control over my nervous system, my reactions, and I finally had a call for help. I needed out, like I was trying to do everything, and I ended up getting the police involved, and that's really what changed everything. And so I do have a mugshot that I'm really proud of. I mean,
Put it on your album cover.
I know, it's crazy how the pain and the worst experience can make you become the best version of yourself. And I just turned my pain into purpose. And that's like why I write my music, because I feel like if I can help another suffering soul, not to experience it firsthand, but just to learn from other people's mistakes. Because, mistakes are good, but we don't have to make those really terrible mistakes. We don't have to die. We don't have to go to jail. We don't have to OD. We don't have to do these things. We can just say, okay, how can I make better choices and not be in complete bondage of self? So I feel like I'm going on. So
No, it's beautiful. Part of your journey, there's been these high highs and these really low lows. And so it's always this like launching piece, like you kind of go through. It's like I had to go through all of this pain to get to this place where you are just like this beam of light and gratitude. And like I feel like, and I'm sure Sharon can say this, I feel like I walk on water around you. Like that's just how you speak so much love and truth and light into people, and it just flows through you. But that doesn't come from like my life was so great and I was so privileged and all of these things went right for me, and so that's why I have gratitude. It's like I have gratitude because I've been in the pain and the darkness, and if my light can inspire even just one person watching this, or in the concerts or whatever it is, then it's all worth it, right? And you really feel that that's like who this truth in you, right? So to hear like when you were going back to like when you were a teen and you were so just full of rage and anger, to get to this place of like my core is not that, like you've really done the work and it's so apparent.
Thank you. And the reason I was filled with such rage and anger, because I was, I did experience early childhood trauma, sexual abuse, okay? And no one could protect me. And so then you internalize that and you just have to, deal with that, unfortunately. And you don't, everyone has a different, deck of set of cards. And at that time back then, you know, it's not like today. At least today, the stigma is getting better. But the different generations, it just depends on your generation. Now it's so accepted. Everyone has a therapist. Everyone has a life coach. Everyone has, you know, acupuncturist, whatever. And like back then, to see a therapist, there was something wrong with you. I never saw a real therapist because then there was definitely something wrong with my family. And I ended up just, you know, it's that self-esteem that was sacrificed for the whole of my family unit. And that is the truth. And every day it's like, again, the self-esteem, I have to work on it so much. So, you know, fast forward now to like, say, 10 years of sobriety. I have a great program and I'm working out. I have structure. I have routine. I'm going to meetings in Malibu. I'm, you know, doing all my steps. I have a sponsor. I have a couple sponsees. And I'm like understanding that this is the true like after party. This is where people go when the party's over. Because I was a party girl. I did not want the party to end. And I loved having commitments, like being a greeter, because it was so social.
You're the best greeter.
I loved it. I'm like,
you're made for that.
Welcome. I know. I was like, hi, I'm Carrie. How, you know, and I just loved meeting all people from all walks of life that are on this now spiritual journey. And I just have to say that the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous is it's a spiritual discipline. That is, or it's a program of action, something like that. Anyway, it's a spiritual program of action. Yes. It's a spiritual program of action. And I am so blessed that I was able to get catapulted onto this different paradigm out here in the West, because back East, you know, my family's all back there doing their thing. And I love them, but they don't understand the whole like potential and the dynamics and like the whole reason for my existence is to leave an impact on humanity and help save anyone who was really going through it. And you ladies came to my show, and I'm so happy that your experience was a healing, therapeutic one, that when I walked out on stage and asked if these kids are in therapy, what's going on with them, you know, this is a great venue to healthfully release your anger, release your frustrations. This is where you can get it all out. I shared with them my sobriety and how I turned my trauma into doing meaningful music. And that is like really my thing. I want to do meaningful music. And the latest song that I've written, Goddess Rights, it's all about having the right to say yes, the right to say no, the right to say stop, the right to say go. We have rights. And I just want everyone to use all of their positive coping strategies versus, you know, what their default is, like to isolate or to take no action, but to use aromatherapy, to use perfumes. Like I have this song, Coco Chanel. So Sharon, can you talk about this?
So, and I'm going to start a little more in the beginning. We just thought we were going to see a show.
We were like, Mom's night out.
Mom's night out.
It's our friend Carrie.
That's what we thought. We had no idea how transformative it was. It was music. It was an experience, like you shared. It was getting on stage and introducing yourself with vibrant colors. Hence, we're all in vibrant colors. You make the audience feel seen. You make everyone in the audience feel like they're the VIP, wherever they're standing. There was no one sitting. Wherever they were standing, it was standing room, packed house. And you took them on a journey. You said, I'm going to take you on an experience. And you talked about recovery and sobriety. And then you didn't stop there, because some people think, well, you get sobriety and you're good. And you're like, no, I found this anger. I had to work on my trauma. I sought out yoga and EMDR, and you turned your concert into the most inviting intervention and the safest space to really say, okay, there's a message here. Not only is it a catchy lyric and really super upbeat, and then you were also live streaming, but you were letting the audience know that this is what it is to live out loud. And then you did the most amazing thing where you sprayed a little Coco Chanel that went right into the fans and into the entire...
We were upstairs. We were like...
The entire Whisky was the essence of Carrie.
Oh my God,
this is how you live. This is what joy looks like. This is what healing looks like. You made therapy so cool to an audience that was probably not there to be told how to live. But they were chanting right along with you, singing right along with you, trying to get up on stage, take photos. It was
cute. Yeah.
I mean, Jen and I were looking at each other like, how did we get this lucky to be a part of this? And this is a message that needs to keep on going. Everyone needs to know Carrie Simmons. Everyone needs to log on to her website, chime into therapy, follow her concerts, because it's a completely different message. And it was really a beautiful invitation to, you can live out loud, you can be yourself. No one is trying to change you or take anything from you. And that it wasn't the biggest audience of sobriety either. I mean, there was a lot of alcohol and a lot of other things, but you were there to say, I'm not here to judge. I'm just here with you. I'm no different than you, except I am singing it out loud and rapping it out loud.
Yep.
And the whole place smelled like Coco Chanel, and they felt like the celebrity along there with you. That's awesome. And you just exude that. And yes, when someone first meets you, at first it is easy to judge and go, is she for real? And then you just continue to engage in the conversation and realize, absolutely, absolutely. And I want what you have. And not out of jealousy, but out of you're willing to share it. This is a gift. You know, there's so much to live out loud about.
Oh, well said. I love the intervention part.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It really was.
It was the most... I mean, I think I walked out of there going, she's selling herself short. This is not just music. This is so much more.
We're like, we need to do something.
We need to go bigger.
Yes.
We need to go bigger.
It was what reminded me of is like it's promotion versus attraction.
Yes.
You didn't go in there going, I see the alcohol, put it down.
Right.
You came in there and you're like, this is my journey. And I remember thinking, and I think I told this to Sharon, I was like, I don't think Carrie realizes how much impact she's having in this room and how many unknown seeds you planted in that room. Somebody, I guarantee, in that pit went to therapy because of that. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, you just made it so safe and normal and like, this is what recovery can look like. Like, they saw that in you. I was like, and then the same thing. You're selling yourself short. It can't just be in this one room. It has to go bigger.
Exactly. And that's where we've known this firsthand of the clients that you've worked with as a clinician, as a director, the influence that you've created. People want what Carrie's giving. And they want it for themselves. And so it was a very inspiring thing. And we wanted to bring it to the podcast and share it, that therapy looks like so many different ways. And for people in the audience, for people in your sessions to go, you get me. You just said that word that I cringe when I say it, trauma, EMDR, addiction. And you're just like, this is it. This is my life. And this is who I am.
Yeah. It's very powerful to, stand up on stage in your own style where no one's telling you what to wear.
It was like pink leopard. What do you call that? Leotard or whatever? I don't even know. I was like, you're so bold and amazing. And then at one point, you had sunglasses on and a crown.
And the goddess.
I was like,
the goddess rights.
Yeah.
It's singing about women and our femininity, stepping into the power. I grew up a tomboy. So, wearing skirts and dresses and makeup and pink, like, if you told me as a child that this was me today, I would have said, no way. Because I grew up in a misogynistic culture, world, generation where, women are not as cool and they're not as strong. Like, growing up, my Halloween costumes, I was Superman. I was a cowboy with a mustache because I was powerful. And it wasn't an identity. It was that gender is, not as. My gender is not as good, as important. I grew up with two brothers. So today, as a woman, to be empowered, to step into my femininity, to own pink, to own power, and when you go on stage and sing that latest song about goddess rights, you're talking about us. You're talking about empowered women empowering women.
Yes.
And that's what we do here every day. But you're doing this on a bigger global level, which is so inspiring.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So good. So one of my questions that we wrote down a couple, but I want to, one of the things is we're like talking about, like you just being this just ray, like you just share it. So I wrote, you're an actual ray of sunshine and one of the most positive people I know. What feeds into that and what's been your biggest influence in this sort of season that you're into? Like you're saying, like it's you took all these bold steps and you're doing all of this healing. You come to this place. What keeps you going? What feeds that?
Sharon. Because honestly, there's no joy without pain, right? You can't just be like, there's something called toxic positivity. I can't just be 100% positive like all the time. But what's the alternative? I don't want to be negative all the time. I don't want to be in my drama, in my, hardships. And I think that the whole attitude of gratitude is, attitude's like 99% of your success and showing up no matter what. And you just have to really choose more positive thoughts and rewire your brain. And it's a lot of CBT, it's a lot of DBT, it's a lot of like getting curious about why do I think the way I do, and how can I take the dis out of dysfunction, and how can I become a version of myself that is the highest self for the greater good. And I just want to be this wise woman and be a good example. They say that the best sermon is a good example. So instead of just teaching and preaching, I want to walk in my integrity and be a woman of grace and dignity. And how do I show up, not just for you, but how do I show up within my own soul and be emotionally available to myself? Because it is a spiritual journey. It's all spiritual. And you can call it God, or you can call it higher power, you can call it whatever you want, but you just got to call on it and trust that, because the end of the day, it's about intimacy with that power and intimacy with yourself and treating yourself better. Because for so long, I treated myself like a rag doll. And that's the type of people I would attract, the types of relationships. They would just not have value me. Like I would look to external, resources to tell me if I'm worthy, to validate me. It's all like outside. But now, like through the meditation, I have to know I am worthy, I am valuable, I trust myself, I can, I am, I will, and just bring in my higher power to find that truth and to guide me and to enjoy that just in the day, to enjoy life and to I think to be here.
And for anyone that follows you on social media, like I see that you live, you travel, you sing, you do yoga, you do therapy, you do your own work, you have recovery, you write music, and you inspire others, and you surround yourself with really amazing, interesting people that are that safe tribe of yours. And it's a beautiful thing. It's like you've perfected the recipe of how to enjoy life and how not just to preach it, but to live it.
Thank you. It's really, because I've done a lot of work. Okay, I've done EMDR. I've done CODA. I've done DA. I've done Al-Anon. I've done CA. I've done SLAA. Okay, and it's like I think the vulnerability is powerful. So anyone who's listening, it's okay to ask for help and be vulnerable and live in that gracious, that's grace. It's like where I'm who I am here and now. And if I need something, I can pick up the phone or ask, the next person, ask Sharon for help. And then she'll give me her wisdom. And I'll be like, okay, I'll take that direction. That's great. And so then when a newcomer comes along and they're struggling, they can ask me. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, just go for a walk or go for a swim or just watch a movie or something or go take yourself to lunch, whatever the coping is. Then that's where I want to live, where I'm not better than you, I'm not less than you, but I'm right here with you, hand in hand. And that's grace. That I think is the best place to be.
And it's more than coping. Yeah. It's more than coping. It's that belief system that I am worthy and I am good. And I don't know why I accidentally lost that a couple of minutes ago, but I'm going to go for a walk and reflect on that. But this is who I am. This is what I'm about. And it's shifting that belief and remembering who you are.
And you know what? Because we're born into this world and I never thought I could sing, okay? It was not something that I wanted to pursue. But I wanted to say, I never thought I could. And I remember this purple T-shirt that I came across. I don't know, but I ended up getting them, manipulating them to give it to me because I'm like, I need that purple shirt. It was like this oversized, extra large. And it says, believe in yourself. And I remembered that, I have to believe in myself. And then that's what really helped me heal and develop that voice. Like, I can do this. I never thought I could sing. And that's really that is so magical when you think you can't. And then coming into La Ventana and being an AMFT, an associate, and getting my 3,000 hours and learning from you, Jennifer, and like seeing how you rolled. And I'm like, God, how does she do that? She makes it look so easy. She's so happy all the time. Like, how did she get there, And I was just like struggling with these law and ethics exams. And then, the clinical hours, I'm just like, or the first clinical Board of Behavioral Science exam, I was telling you, oh my God, that was just like the hardest thing in the world. And I'll tell you, the biggest challenges create the best, they're the best at that, it's all worth it. It's all worth it if you just keep holding on and keep trying again because, that first rule, the only rule is never give up. Never give up. Just keep going and try again. And lo and behold, I ended up passing that exam.
We all screamed with you. We're so excited.
God, that was the day.
But the
you didn't give up.
we grow through the challenges.
Right. Yeah.
And I know that there's this illusion like you're always happy. And we know that's not true. But it's when you put in the work and then you achieve the reward. Yeah. You struggled through the exams and you passed. That was like so long ago. And it's like the pain, working through the pain to get that reward and learn that lesson. So yeah, it's ups and downs, but it's that constant reminder of remembering who you are and remembering the message
and believing,
believing it.
believing that there's you don't have to understand it at the time. That's the hardest thing. It's like you cannot lean on your own understanding. You just have to trust. Hence my trust God necklace. It's trusting, and it's like really coming into the positive space, like, okay, let me have faith, let me trust, let me believe, let me do all these positive, wonderful things, let me dance, let me sing, let me do, I don't know, just do the best I can.
And it's beautiful because you're just a humble, down-to-earth, real person, and you're offering such a beautiful service in your music and therapy, and you're so relatable.
Thank you.
And people do feel seen with you.
It's so funny because now my clinical practice is all telemedicine. And even yesterday I was working with a young lady, and she is into political science, and she's so bright, and she's going to be teaching, and she's so scared, and she has schizoaffective disorder, and she's, struggles. But she was telling me there's this convention. It's a Japanimation. It's like the animation convention in downtown LA that she's excited to go. Her and her family they got a hotel, and it's going to be like what are those things?
Cosplay?
Yeah, cosplay.
Yeah.
And it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. The only reason I said this because I have my desk, and one of my drawers was open, and she saw this old business card I had with my headshot. She's like, "Oh my gosh, what is that? Is that your headshot?" Or she was curious about, her therapist. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I picked it up." I showed her like the little bangs that I had. She's like, "Oh my gosh, tell me." She wanted to know about me. And I'm like, because I'm not really a psychodynamic. I'm more like, solution-focused therapist. And so we were just talking about like her video games and how she loves gaming. And I'm like, oh, by the way, do you know, because this is my rule of thumb as a therapist. I only share if it's going to benefit the client.
Yeah.
And so I told her I was on the cover of Grand Theft Auto and the latest trilogy. And it made her so happy and joyful. She couldn't wait to go tell all her friends. And now she's like the coolest teacher. And I love when those tiny little moments happen in session, because it brings us so much joy. We're both giddy with this, because I feel like that time of my life was like a really dark kind of, place that I turned into through the journey, through the, all of the days that I went through trying to get traction for this. It ended up being so incredibly more than I could ever imagine. And I got to, buy my condo because of this experience. I got to, and now I'm thriving and flourishing in Westwood, and I get to share my experience with all of you to just say, no matter what, just hang on, stay in this, earth school, because we are learning these lessons. Some are difficult, some are easy. There's Kundalini yoga, breath work for the easy lessons to just flow through you versus the difficult ones, but it's all amazing that we can just continue to give back and bring hope and light to this world that we live in.
And that is you. You give that to, I think, more people than you realize. We are so blessed for you to take this time with us and send the message and inspire who knows how many more people. And I cannot wait for the next concert, whenever that may be.
I know.
And the next experience.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking your time today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
And for our viewers and listeners at home, how does one find you?
Okay, so of course I have social media. So it's Carrie Simmons Official on Instagram. And then I have a website, carriesimmonsofficial.com. And then what else? I have a YouTube channel, Carrie Simmons channel. And then I have my TikTok. And then, of course, Facebook. So I'm not that hard to find. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Window with the amazing Carrie Simmons. You can catch our next episode on Spotify, on YouTube, on Facebook, and with LaVentanaTreatment.com.